As discussed earlier, magnetic field is produced due to current. So in this chapter we will discuss that topic in more detail. So we will be discussing about magnetic field due to a current in any conductor. So that we will be discussing in this particular chapter in detail. So the first thing that we will start with this in this chapter is the very important Biot-Savart law. Biot-Savart law. So this law is about a current carrying straight wire and a point P at which we need to find the magnetic field intensity. So let's say we have a wire like this, and remember this wire has to be infinite in length, and we have a point P over here at which we need to find the magnetic field intensity. Let's say we take a very small length dl, and for this we will find the magnetic field intensity at point P. So this will be the direction of r cap. Then let's say the current here in this region is in this direction, so this will be the angle theta. So according to Biot-Savart law, the magnetic field of the small region is proportional to the small length, it is proportional to the current in the wire, it is proportional to the 1 by r square, that is inverse square of the distance between the point and the wire. So ultimately when we put it all together, we obtain a constant mu naught over 4 pi ideal over r square, ideal sin theta over r square, and this can be put in another manner in vector form. This is the scalar form, okay, in this direction is not present, so this is the scalar form of the magnetic field. Now the vector form can be represented like mu naught over 4 pi, and current is there, dl cross r over r cube, because let's take r cap here. So at the place of r cap, r cap shows the direction, so at the place of r cap we can use r vector over magnitude of r, that is it will become r cube. Unit vector r is vector r over the magnitude. So this will be the equation in the vector form. So this is our vector form of the magnetic field for a straight wire, and this was the scalar form. So this is quite simple. This is called the Biot-Savart law. It tells us that if you have a straight wire, remember it has to be infinite. For infinite straight current carrying wire, the magnetic field at any point P is given by this formula. Remember, magnetic field at point P due to small length of wire dl, and obviously if you want to completely calculate it, you need to integrate. Now what if we have a straight current carrying wire? This is not straight, this can be of any shape. So what happens if we have a magnetic field due to a current in straight wire? So if this is the case, then after simplification you will find that the simplification and integration, you will find that the magnetic field will be equal to mu naught over 4 pi I over d cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. Now what is all this? So let's take the scenario is that this is our straight wire, this is our point P, Now we take this length dl, so this distance will be r. Now let's take this end and let's take this end. These are the two ends of the wire. This makes angle theta 1 with V, this makes angle theta 2 with P, and this angle is theta. Current in this wire is I, and the distance between point and the wire perpendicular distance is capital D, and the distance between the center of the wire or the perpendicular point of the wire from the point P and the dl which we are taking is small l. So this much is small l and this is dl, small region. So for this situation the formula comes out to be this. So this is a finite wire. What would happen if we have an infinite wire? Or a very long wire? So in that case the magnetic field will be given by mu naught I over 2 pi d. So these are the two formulas for finite and infinite wire. And if you want to find the direction of magnetic field or the direction of current, so let's say this is our wire, current is like this, so you can use the right hand rule. Okay, by the use of right hand rule you can find the direction of the magnetic field around the wire. So using right hand thumb rule you can find the direction. If thumb is the current, then the curled fingers are magnetic field, and if thumb is the magnetic field, then curled fingers are showing the current. Situation 1, situation 2. So using the right hand thumb rule you can find the direction of the magnetic field or the current. This is the magnitude only, scalar. Now let's discuss about force between two parallel current carrying wire. So let's say we have two wires like this. Now situation can be that the current is in same direction or the current can be in different direction. So we are doing it for same direction. If they are in opposite direction, only the force between them will be changed. So if they are in same direction it will be attractive. I1, I2 in same direction, then they will attract each other. If I1, I2 opposite to each other, then they will repel each other. If the current is in like this, they will repel, wires will repel. So here the force has to be found out. So let's say that the magnetic field in the first wire is mu naught I1 over 2 pi d, where d is the distance between the two wires. So the force on the wire can be current into dl cross b, small length is taken, then putting the value of b, we will obtain mu naught I over 2 pi d. So this force will be equal to I1 or mu naught over 2 pi I1 I2 into dl over d, and if you want to find the force per unit length, so it will be mu naught over 2 pi d I1 into I2. So this is more useful, force per unit length, force per unit length of the wire. So the force between two wires can be given by this, and the direction can be obtained by this. Okay, this is about the direction, and this is about the magnitude. Here we have taken the scalar quantity only. Direction can be obtained from this. Now let us define 1 ampere. As discussed, current's unit is ampere. So what is 1 ampere? So 1 ampere is the amount of current when we have two parallel wires having current equal to I, or which is equal to I1 I2, which is equal to 1 ampere. Current in both the wires is 1 ampere. And when will it be case? When distance between them is 1 meter. So amount of current when we have two parallel wires having current equal to 1 ampere, distance equal to 1 meter. So then the force per unit length will be 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. So if we have a wire we have a force per unit length this, and the distance between the wires is this, then the current is said to be 1 ampere. So what is 1 ampere? Current in a wire having force per unit length 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter, and distance between the wires equal to 1 meter. Now similarly we can have field due to magnetic field due to a circular current. So there can be various scenarios. First, at the center. So if you want to find the magnetic field at the center of a circle, then the formula will come out by using the Biot-Savart law. So once you simplify this, the distance is, let's say radius is a. So let's integrate this. So you will obtain B equal to mu naught I over 4 pi a square dl. So this is the circumference, mu naught I over 4 pi a square, and circumference is 2 pi into radius. So magnetic field comes out to be mu naught I over 2a, and the direction of the magnetic field can be defined by this is the magnitude, and direction can be defined by right hand thumb rule. So if we have a circular coil, then the magnetic field at the center is given by this formula. Now we can also find the magnetic field at the axial position. So at the axis of the coil. So let's say the situation is that we have a circular coil like this, and we need to find the magnetic field on one of the points situated at the axis. Let's say the distance between this small length that we are taking is r, and this distance is, let's say, d, and let's say we will have a magnetic field due to both these regions of the wire. We will only be discussing about these two regions and then they will get integrated. So this is one and this is another, so their vertical components will get cancelled out but their horizontal components will get added up. So the magnetic field will be in this direction. So bus only we need to find the value. So the value will be dB cos theta equal to, this is dB, this is dB, this is theta, this is dB cos theta. So dB cos theta will be equal to mu naught I over 4 pi dl over r square, and it can be, r square can be written as a square plus d square by Pythagoras theorem, and cos theta is equal to a over root a square plus d square, okay, cos theta. So now ultimately we will have B will be equal to mu naught IA over 4 pi a square plus d square 3 by 2, this is 1, this is 1 by 2, okay. So 1 plus 1 by 2 will become 3 by 2 into dl. So once we integrate this, you will get 2 pi a over 4 pi a square plus d square 3 by 2. So after simplification, magnetic field will come out to be mu naught I a square over 2 a square plus d square 3 by 2. So this will be the magnetic field at the axis. If point is far away from circle, so in that case D will be much greater than A, so the magnetic field will be approximately equal to mu naught I a square over 2D cube, because we can ignore A. So this is for the circular coil. Now let's start with the very important law, which is the Ampere's law. So Ampere's law is the analogous to the Gauss law in electricity. Ampere's law is the in magnetism is analogous to Gauss law in electric field or electricity. So according to Ampere's law, let's say we have a closed loop, and in this closed loop current is there are many wires in which current is there. Let's say I5 current is here, let's say I1 current is here, let's say I3 current is here, let's say I2 current is here, let's say I4 current is here. Dot means out, cross means in. So according to Ampere's law, the magnetic field in a certain closed loop, in a certain line is equal to mu naught I, where I is the current enclosed. It is important, current enclosed in the loop. So the magnetic field in this loop will be equal to the amount of current flowing through inside this loop. Just like Gauss law states that the E dot ds is equal to charge upon epsilon naught. So electric field depends on the charge. So here magnetic field depends on the current because it is produced by the flow of charge. So this is the Ampere's law. So according to Ampere's law, the circulation B dot dl of resultant magnetic field along a closed plane curve is equal to mu naught times the total current crossing the area times total current which is crossing the area. Remember, it must be inside this loop. Okay, for example, this I4 and I5 are not important for this loop. So total current crossing the area bounded by the closed curve provided electric field inside the loop remains constant. So this is the Ampere's law, which is analogous to the Gauss law of electricity. Now similarly we can find the values of magnetic, just like using Gauss law we could find the electric field of various shapes. Similarly we can find the magnetic field of various shapes using Ampere's law. So Biot-Savart law is analogous to Coulomb's law and Ampere's law is analogous to Gauss law. So using both this law we can find magnetic field. Using both this law we can find electric fields. Okay, so in some case this is simple, in some case this is simple. So by using Ampere's law we can find the magnetic field for a straight current carrying wire. For magnetic field due to straight current carrying wire or conductor. So let us suppose that we have this wire and this point P. So let's take a loop around this. Wire, circular loop like this, passing through this point. So this will be our radius here, which is D. So ultimately, according to B dot dl, it will be once we solve this, so B is constant, so B into dl, and theta is 0 degree, therefore cos 0 degree is 1. So let me write it B cos 0 degree and integration of dl. So ultimately B and dl will be 2 pi d circumference. So the this is equal to, we know that mu naught I. So ultimately B will be mu naught I over 2 pi d. This is the same formula that we obtained using the Biot-Savart law. So this is the proof that the magnetic field of various shapes can be found out using the Ampere's law as well. So by Biot-Savart law we found B was equal to mu naught I over 2 pi d. So we have found out the same value here using Ampere's law. Now there is a concept of solenoid and toroid. Solenoid and toroid. So solenoid is a device having multiple coils of wire, and toroid is a solenoid which is joined from end to end. So let's say we have a solenoid and we joined it end to end, so it will become a toroid. Okay, so toroid and a solenoid are obtained by multiple coils, multiple turns of coils of a wire. Now if we have infinite solenoid, if the solenoid's length is infinite, then the magnetic field inside the solenoid can be given by a particular formula. So magnetic field B here will be equal to will be equal to mu naught n I, where I is the current which is flowing in the coil, and outside the magnetic field will be 0. So in infinite solenoid this is the case. And similarly in a toroid, inside this region the magnetic field will be mu naught Ni, but in this region magnetic field will be 0, and outside the magnetic field will be 0. So toroid and solenoid are the coils of wire. If they have current, then they produce magnetic field. So if we have infinite solenoid, then the magnetic field outside will be 0, and magnetic field inside will be mu naught Ni, where N is the number of turns per unit length, I is the current, number of turns per unit length, and I is the current, and mu naught is the permeability of free space. And similarly in toroid also, the inside region will have a magnetic field and the outside region have which is here, and here also magnetic field will be 0 for the toroid as well.